97.3. Come on. Let's go.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue.
Flex. Buckle up and join the best. Let's see, relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe your soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays happening live. Where we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the Traffic Avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the Traffic Avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, Traffic Avenue, oh yeah.
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadou. Tonight, I'm here with
Akusia Ochri.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes, the big Supreme Court judgment that has come 3 years after the challenge, making it impossible for the beneficiary to benefit. I'm referring to the decision that says President Akufo-Addo had no right to instruct former Auditor General Daniel Domelevo to proceed on leave. What are we going to learn from that here on Eyewitness News? We'll be having that conversation. Also, coming up, about 9 million SIM cards to be deactivated by the stroke of midnight tonight as the re-registration deadline elapses. And later on Eyewitness News, we take you to the Astin North constituency, where the governing NPP is busily looking for a candidate to represent it in the possible by-election, or in the by-election that is coming up from that constituency. Stay with 97.3 City FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
Telkom's chamber assures of measures to protect fans of mobile money subscribers who will not be able to re-register their SIM cards by close of day.
That's in 15 minutes with Netili Neti from the City Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations. We are in Akpanduri on Scarp 101.3 FM. We are in Boku on Source 100.1 FM. In Laura, we are on Westlink 88.1 FM. In Tamale, we are on Diamond 93.7 FM. In Adakluwaya, we are on Adanu 107.7 FM. In Ho, we are on Global 105.1 FM. In Kumasi, we are on Orange 107.9 FM, as well as Alpha Radio 104.9. We are also in Sunyani on Greener 95.9 FM. We are on Hammers Radio 106.5 FM based in Gosu. We are in Takrady on Premier 100.5 FM, Sky Power 93.5 FM, and Beach 105.5 FM. Do let us know what you make of the stories we are bringing you. 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. You can also send tweets using the hashtag City Newsroom, tweet at Umaru Sanda or at City973. Well, Daniel Domelevo is a man who's been celebrated by civil society organizations and many Ghanaians over his work that he was doing when he was the Auditor General of the Republic of Ghana. 3 years ago, we received information that the President of the Republic had ordered him to go on leave. In fact, the story was published by Neil Latilati on citynewsroom.com that day. It's titled Akufo-Addo directs Domelevo to proceed on accumulated leave beginning July 1. The story says, the President, Nana Akufo-Addo, has directed the Auditor General Daniel Domelevo to proceed on his accumulated annual leave of 123 working days. Mr. Domelevo's leave takes effect from Wednesday, July 1, 2020. A statement from the Communications Directorate of the Jubilee House further directed Mr. Domelevo to hand over all matters relating to his office to his deputy, Mr. Johnson Ikuamwa Asiedu. The President of the Republic, this is a quotation, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has directed Mr. Yao Domelevo, the Auditor General, to take his accumulated leave of 123 working days, according to records available to the Presidency, with effect from Wednesday, 1st July 2020. Nana Addo's decision to ask Auditor General to take his leave is said to be based on Section 21 and 31 of the Labour Act 2003. The statement signed by the Director of Communication at the Presidency, Eugene Ahin, indicated that the Auditor General has taken only 9 out of his 132 working days of his accumulated leave since assuming office in December 2016. The move is also said to follow the precedent set by former President John Evans Atta Mills when he asked the then Auditor General Edward Duajiman to also proceed on his 264 accumulated annual leave in 2009. Then a background is given here. It's titled Domelevo versus Osafo Mafo and 1 million Kroll Associates. In May 2020, the Auditor General Daniel Domelevo was found guilty of contempt for failing to respond to a suit filed by the senior minister Yao Osafo Mafo, which was challenging the $1 million surcharge on him. According to the court, the reason given by Mr. Domelevo for his inability to respond was unattainable and an afterthought. Domelevo had said he was busy finishing up an audit report for Parliament, hence his failure to respond to the suit. But the judge, Justice Botwe, in her ruling said, due to the important role the Auditor General plays, she will opt to caution and discharge him rather than sentence him. So this is what happened. Now, there's another subtitle on that story, Moves to Kick Auditor General Out. Some civil organizations and individuals had alleged that the Auditor General's resolve to surcharge alleged corrupt officials, including top appointees like the senior minister, will lead to his removal. They raised concerns over the existence of a possible scheme by some government-affiliated groups to get the Auditor General Daniel Domelevo out of office. Earlier, pro-NPP pressure group, the Alliance for Accountable Governance, AFAG, petitioned the Attorney General demanding an investigation and prosecution of the Auditor General over some public procurement breaches. This subjected the Auditor General to probe by the Economic and Organized Crimes Office, EOCO. So this is just a background to the Domelevo leave. Now, when he returned from leave, the day he returned from leave, there was news that emerged that the presidency had again told him that he ought to retire. I'm reading for you BBC.com, the British Broadcasting Corporation, 3rd March 2021. The story is titled Domelevo, How Auditor General proceed on by force 167-day leave as Ghanaian only to return as Togolese. The story says Ghana Audit Service Board Chair. Okay, so this is a pidgin version, but essentially reminding us of what happened. How when Daniel Domelevo returned from leave, we were told that there were challenges with his date of birth and even his nationality. Today, the Supreme Court has decided, and the decision is that that instruction by the president for him to go on leave was unlawful. CSOs went to court insisting that what had happened was wrong. A number of people had raised issue with what happened. One of them is a lecturer at the University of Ghana. He's with the political science Department. His name is Professor Ransford Jampo. He's joining me on the line. Prof, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Yeah, well, thanks.
I know you and those who called for the president to rescind his decision would be vindicated, but I'm sure you're not just looking for vindication, but you are looking more at strengthening our institutions. How are you receiving today's news from the Supreme Court?
Well, I think it's a victory for democracy, a victory for good governance, and it is good for all of us as a people. My little worry is that I'm not a lawyer. I do not want to be a lawyer. But this matter that happened, I mean, it was a straightforward matter. We all knew, even without reading law, we knew that it was a bad case. The president had no business acting the way he acted in ousting the Auditor General. He didn't have business doing that. And that's how come we spoke against it and sought to draw his attention that what he did was illegal. It also shows that he didn't have much respect for the idea of good governance and the quest for countervailing authority, and accountability. But he ignored all of this and he perpetuated this kind of thing. And I was thinking that it was a straightforward matter that shouldn't have taken all this while for the Supreme Court to handle such a simple matter that even we, ordinary people who are non-lawyers, knew that it was wrong. But it took them all this while. You see, it's a great precedent they have set. But in trying to set a good precedent, you don't have to allow bad governance to fester and to destroy things before you set a good precedent. Now, you are saying what the president did was illegal, but the man cannot go back to act as Auditor General. And so it means, is it deliberate that you allowed bad governance to fester for all this while and waited till the time that by the time you give a ruling, the man can no longer go? I mean, we should be thinking about some of these things. Justice delayed would also allow bad governance to fester. And sometimes some of these things, they are handled expeditiously to ensure that bad things are not perpetuated or are not allowed to fester in the body politic. And I was thinking that the Supreme Court would have seen the agency in expeditiously putting a rest or adjudicating this matter, because it was a straightforward matter. Like I said, even those of us who do not know law and who do not want to be reading law, we knew that the president goofed, and it didn't show that he cherished the dogmas and principles of accountability. And so we spoke against it, and I'm wondering why it took the Supreme Court all this while. And so, yes, it is good for us, but I'm saying in trying to set the kind of precedent that has been set, you do not do so by allowing bad governance to fester a long time.
So Domelevo obviously cannot go back to that position. He's long retired. Incidentally, tomorrow will be his second anniversary of retirement. But again, we have always been told consistently by the people in the law world that the wheels of justice grind slowly. So essentially, the end is what justifies what happens.
No. It is a bogus cliche that they use to perpetuate injustice on ordinary people. Sometimes they have to be proactive. You don't pander. We should be thinking people challenging status quo, and then not without always necessarily seeking to pander to what does not work. That principle or cliche that the wheels of justice grind slowly must be challenged by right-thinking people. We have the penchant as a developing country. It happens everywhere. Developing country people have a penchant for pandering to things that do not work without anybody daring to challenge it. It doesn't help us. And that is why we are where we are today. The man has been told that what happened to him was illegal, but he cannot go back to that institution. Okay? And so it is very bad. We don't have to pander to things that do not work.
I see, but now he cannot go back. Obviously, like I said, the decision has been made. There's no remedy that has been given to him specifically. Do you think that the Supreme Court should have said he should be compensated in one way or the other?
Well, so I don't. Maybe we are not privy to the full contents of the ruling, but it appears what the Supreme Court said. They didn't make a consequential order asking him to go back, because I'm sure that they knew that, I mean, the man has retired. But maybe if we get the full fact or the full complement of the ruling, we'll be able to know what is in there, because they just cannot give that ruling without also thinking about some compensation. By all means, they'll have to compensate. Otherwise, then how do you know the relevance of this ruling?
I see. Before I let you go, there is something too that is in the news, that the president is asking Electoral Commission staff to present their CVs to the presidency. You have been with the IEA in the past, Institute of Economic Affairs. You've been busy with governance issues. You have worked with the Electoral Commission for many years in the past in your other life. Is this a normal thing?
Well, for the president to ask directors of the Electoral Commission to submit their CVs to him. I mean, when I saw the letter, I thought it was too bad to be true. So I initially dismissed it, but later I said, no, let me try to find out from some members of the commission. And so I did my own calls. I spoke to former members of the commission, former directors of the commission, and then some current officers of the commission. And they were all surprised. They found it strange. But what is worrying is that even though they were surprised and they found it strange, they were also not willing to act to defy such orders. But what is important for them to know, which I sought to draw their attention to, was the fact that the commission is an independent commission, and it is clothed with the necessary legalities to defy orders from the executive president that attempts to undermine the independence of the commission. I mean, you are asking for their CVs for what? Is it the president who appointed those directors? And is he trying to give them a job? Or is he trying to question the authenticity of what they have achieved? Is he trying to question their promotion processes and all that? I mean, these are matters that the independent commission has internal arrangements to handle.
Or could he be possibly looking for maybe new people to occupy positions with the Electoral Commission, and he wants to check their competencies?
New people, no. It is not the mandate or the duty of the president to be appointing directors of the Electoral Commission. They have their own recruitment system. People have been promoted as directors based on meritocracy. The Electoral Commission, the president is not the one who is supposed to be appointing directors of the commission. And so why does the president want to extend his tentacles of political kinkonism to independent commissions? This is a commission that has had its independence battered and is currently suffering from serious legitimacy deficits. If you look at the way and manner Charlotte Osei was handed, out away from the place. If you look at the way recently some political party apparatchiks were recruited to go and serve on the commission, that brought about the criticisms from civil society and all that. And if you are asking again that now directors should be submitting their CVs to for what? What does this president want to achieve?
Well, how should the Electoral Commission respond to this, if it matters at all?
No, you see, the Electoral Commission must also not be seen to be swallowing hook, line, and sinker every order that seeks to undermine their independence. And like I said, they are clothed with the needed powers and independence and authority to be able to say no, respectfully to the president. To the president, you can tell other state-owned agencies to be bringing their CVs, but we are an independent commission, and so we can't yield to this particular demand. They can respectfully tell the president, and nothing will happen to them. But like I said, it appears that in Ghana here, we like to gossip behind people's back. We like to talk and criticize, say things behind people's back. But when we are really confronted with reality, we don't talk. So people that I've spoken to are expressing grave concern about what is going on, but they are not willing to talk. And some of them have unfortunately complied.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Prof.
Pleasure.
That's Professor Ransford Jampo. He's with the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana, giving us his thoughts on the Electoral Commission or the directive by the President for Electoral Commission directors to present their CV. And before then, he was speaking to us about that big Supreme Court decision by the Supreme Court decision on Daniel Domelevo, the former Auditor General, which decision would not benefit the beneficiary. We've actually got him on the line now, Mr. Domelevo, speaking to us tonight. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How do you feel hearing the news from the Supreme Court today?
Well, I feel vindicated. I feel happy, and thanks to the civil society group who did not give up and send this issue to the Supreme Court, and finally the ruling is out. I think it's a good thing for us all because some people may be worried by the fact that it has delayed, but with the future is more than our past. I'm sure there are going to be several auditors general in the future appointed by several presidents. And given the ruling that has been given today, I'm sure it's going to guide how the presidency deals with the auditors general. So to me, I was very happy that never again will we run into such a situation.
Ransford Jampo a short while ago was worried about the fact that this decision is coming 3 years on, and that he expected that the decision should have been taken quickly enough. What's your personal view on this? Do you think you should have been cleared enough so you go to the workplace that you've been working at all these years, or for you, the bigger picture should be looked at and not your personal benefits?
Well, to be honest with you, many people have reached out to me, say this is justice delayed and justice denied. And I respect their positions, including that of Prof. Jampo. But to me, I don't think there is any group of people who appreciate this principle more than the Supreme Court. So what held them on up to now is up to them up to them to let us know. I don't want to fault them for their work. Maybe they had a lot of things to do or to check before they came out with this verdict. Some people say it could have been a week, some say 2 weeks. I say, well, I've never been Supreme Court before, and I don't know their modus operandi, so I'm not able to tell them how they should do it. But let me be very frank with you. I think asking me to leave the office, unconstitutional and unlawful as I think it was, I think it was also timely. Timely in the sense that the working environment at the time was so toxic, said that it was not right for anybody to work in such an environment. If you're going to work, you are very careful about your drinking, you are very careful about your eating, you are very careful about who you talk to and what you say at any point in time. And that can even affect your judgment, said that you may not be as objective as you should be. It seems you are in a battlefield. Actually, I was referring to myself as operating in an enemy territory. I was operating among enemies. I hope you know that in Supreme Court and High Court, the board chairman was sitting opposite to me. More or less, what I say opposite me, I say he was representing those who were accusing me. It was strange that you have a board chairman of a service and the head of that service or the Auditor General holds somebody accountable and the board chairman goes and sits there. So to defend Honorable Asafo Mafo at High Court and in Supreme Court. So I found it very disturbing. And again, when we went to Supreme Court and the acting Auditor General presented his findings on the Crow and Associates and it was accepted, I thought the Supreme Court had already decided that he is the Auditor General. But thank God today the decision which has come is different because his appointment was at that time being challenged in front of the same Supreme Court. So I thought they would have said, hold on, you cannot do this. But then they accepted what he brought and used it as a decision. So to free Honorable Asafo Mafo. So I concluded that in my view, the Supreme Court has decided in advance. But here I am wrong. their decision is different from what I thought it is. So that's why I would not like to fault them for the delay in the coming out of the ruling. What the reasons are is best known to them.
This toxic you talk about at the time you were there, how widespread was it? Was it amongst your staff, your deputies, or it was an external toxic that was seeping into your organization?
Let me just say it was a toxic working environment. I don't want to go too much into details.
But it was political.
If you look too much closely into the eye of the dead, you see the ghost. So I don't want to see a ghost.
What has been your relationship with the Jubilee House since that uneventful?
To be honest with you,
Since you left,
I've responded to this time and again that personally I have nothing against the Jubilee House. Even the board chairman, I have nothing against him. He's doing his master's job, what they have appointed him to do. So when he lost his wife, I called him to express my condolences to him because I have nothing against him in person. Just as I was doing my work, I also assumed that the Jubilee House, as well as the board chairman, they were also doing their work anyway. Only that I thought they were not doing their work well. But maybe I may be wrong. So it's nothing personal.
Let's talk about...
let me say that...
Go ahead.
Let me say that it is a position, not a possession. So I can move on, and I've moved on.
Should there have been some remedies for you, like some compensation given you for the sudden or abrupt end of your tenure? Do you think there should have been something like that?
I don't think so. You mean that they should take the taxpayers' money to pay me for what the non-taxpayer did wrongly? I don't believe in that. The president doesn't pay tax on his income and many other things. So he should not do something wrong, and they use you, Umaru, your tax, to compensate me. I think the verdict or the ruling is the most important thing, and it has come, and we thank God for that.
How are they treating you in retirement? Do you receive all your benefits, though, by the way?
Why don't we leave that for another day? Today is not about my retirement benefit. But in a short answer, I must say I've not received all my benefits yet.
And has it got anything to do with how you left? Because you retired, right? You retired on one of the birthdays, one of the ones. Either way, you retired. I mean, your birthday was a controversial one. But you eventually retired. You are currently in retirement. And what is due you
There's no controversy. There is no controversy at all about my birthday. My birthday is one and only one. If somebody pick up a forged document today or forge a document on you or impose a birthday on you today, Umaru, will you accept it as a second birthday?
I will not accept.
So as far as I'm concerned, I have only one birthday, so there's no controversy.
Okay.
You cannot allege something and rule on it. The board should have been wise. The office of the president should have been wise to go to court and say, Daniel, this is your birthday instead of the other one. They have not challenged that. They cannot. It doesn't lie in their bosom or their mouth to tell me when I was born.
I'm just
so
asking.
There is no controversy there.
So, as a constitutionally appointed member of the state, you have some specific conditions of service that you retire on. So, I was just essentially trying to check if these were honored when you went on retirement. Tomorrow will be your anniversary, right?
Yes, tomorrow will be my 62nd birthday, and it has not been honored. What I saw was last week Friday, I received a copy of a letter from Ministry of Finance saying they were paying me some additional gratuity. And the money has been paid into my account, and I was like, how do you pay me additional gratuity? Oh, no, not additional, difference rather, the difference. I said, how do you give me a difference when the original amount, I've not seen it?
so they give you the profit. So you are getting profit before capital.
Exactly. The capital is gone somewhere. I don't know where it is.
Maybe
gone.
Haircut.
You have not
been in Ghana for. You have not been in Ghana for a while. We've suffered haircuts. Maybe you do it to that's your contribution to the economic challenges. But how is retirement treating you though on a personal level?
To me, retirement is very good. I am very happy with my retirement, and I don't think it could be better.
We wish you all the best, and thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you also, and have a nice evening.
That's Daniel Domelevo. He was Auditor General of the Republic of Ghana before he was, well, first he was asked to proceed on leave, and when he returned from leave, he was ordered to go on retirement. He has since left the office. Civil society organizations went to court saying that the president's directive to him was unconstitutional. Well, it's been many years in coming, but it came eventually. The gavel landed this afternoon, or this morning rather, and the Supreme Court said the president was not justified in the decision and that what he did was unconstitutional to order Daniel Domelevo to proceed on compulsory leave. Daniel Domelevo was in 2020 forced by the presidency to go on a 169 working days leave. These were accumulative leave days and taken by Mr. Domelevo according to the presidency. So the Center for Democratic Development, CDD, and 9 other civil society organizations described the move as an affront to independence of the office applied to the Supreme Court, and a decision was made today where the Supreme Court said what the president did was unconstitutional, null, and void. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. There is more that the Supreme Court has been doing today. Lots of other issues that it's been working on. Akosia will share more with us.
Yes, the Supreme Court has struck out the law that allowed President Akufo-Addo to impose restrictions as part of the fight against coronavirus pandemic. The government, at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, caused for the legislation of the Imposition of Restriction Act, which gave powers to the president to restrict human activities for the purpose of fighting the pandemic. The applicants rather sued the Attorney General, claiming that directives pursuant to the act, such as closure of schools, restriction of movements, were unconstitutional. It was the case of the plaintiffs that the act that allowed for these restrictions was unconstitutional in line with Articles 31 and 32 of the Constitution. The Apex Court is delivering its judgment. In delivering its judgment, to describe the act as null and void.
This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. We are also around the globe on citynewsroom.com. The big stories we're bringing you tonight. The Supreme Court has made a pronouncement on the Daniel Domelevo, and also, as you've just heard there, the CI, the constitutional instrument, on the COVID-19 restrictions that were imposed by the government. And talking about the other issue we've touched on, which is the information from the president asking for Electoral Commission directors to present their CVs. Someone has just sent me a message on that saying that please inform Sandra that the request for CVs went to all public institutions. Even NHIA directors were requested to send their CVs. City should check from the Office of Chief of Staff. And then other messages that are coming through. This one says, okay, so Edmond B. Hills, he says, good evening. I think some decisions by the Supreme Court of the land come at a more slower pace than a thought is. What do they want Mr. Domelevo to do with this ruling and other late rulings? Paul Aka Jr. From Ahafomim says, the decision of the Apex Court to call the Auditor General to proceed on compulsory leave and subsequently retiring is warmly received. The biggest question now is, will he get back to work to finish his tenure and be given his full retirement package? Zilis Drain in London says the removal of the former Auditor General was an abuse of executive power by the president and it's unacceptable. Hamdan from Moyoni Nyohini says justice delayed is justice denied. The Supreme Court has done this man injustice and God is watching. Femi Bello from Saboba says the Supreme Court's ruling today of the dismissal of Yao Domelevo is a mere miscarriage of justice and nothing less. What is the effect of a ruling or a judgment if it doesn't serve justice to the victim? Emil Akwensivi in Boso says this government has engaged in several unconstitutional activities. Do they engage their lawyers before coming public? No, the MPP must go. Harry in Hachu says, by their fruits we shall know them. Now they are rewriting their wrongs. Yeah, that's what he's saying. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. Send messages to using 0549 986 996. That's a WhatsApp number. And alternatively, go on Twitter and use the hashtag City Newsroom. Eyewitness News returns in a bit.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner from HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Condoms are an effective way for protection against HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and Ghana Health Service.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's Ricky car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how's your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies DA improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. Let's do some more stories. The SIM card re-registration process at telecommunication centers was noticeably quieter today with fewer people present. All unregistered SIM cards will be deactivated by the close of the day. This action follows a directive by the National Communications Authority ordering the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications to ensure that all SIM cards which have not been re-registered with Ghana cards be removed from their system in compliance with the May 31 deadline. Those who have come to register their SIM cards before the deadline cited various reasons for their delay. An individual shared her experience with City News.
I haven't been around, so I came mostly for the registration. So I have to be going back.
If you came purposely for the registration, today being the last day, are you aware?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I said I haven't been around for a while. Yeah, my work takes me around. So.
Have you faced any challenges throughout the process?
No. Okay, I mean, there was a bit delay in the system capturing my palm and all that. Other than that, I think it's been smooth.
A number of people said they couldn't get access to their Ghana card and that caused the delay. In your case, that's not the case. Is that it?
Well, I have to go and then pay for Express because mine also didn't come on time. So I had to go to the office and then pay for Express for me to get my card.
Because of the COVID, our office bought some SIM card and we had to register them with our names. And they started calling me to do the activation for the if not, they can't work. That's the reason why I'm here today.
So you've done your personal one?
I've done my personal one, yes. I have two of that. I've done all.
But you are here to do it for the office?
For the office, yes. Exactly.
So why the delay? Why did you choose the last day to do it?
I didn't decide to do the last day. They decided to do it the last day. They didn't realize it was in my name. But I think they sent them messages. That was when they ran to me yesterday for me to come and do it.
You had an individual share her experience with re-registering her SIM card.
So the deadline, I believe, will be midnight tonight. What is going to be the state of affairs? Dr. Ken Ashigbe is Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Telecommunications. Doc, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, Tomorrow.
So what's the decision by telcos?
Well, this is not a telco decision. This is the NCA implementing the policy directive from the Ministry of Communication and Digitalization. So at midnight, as Ms. Randy said, those who have not fully registered their SIMs, they will be blocked. So as we speak, yesterday, the numbers I got yesterday was about close to 9 million subscribers who would be blocked. And then if you consider those on the mobile money, that's about 7.4 million subscribers who would also be blocked, and they will not have access to their mobile money. So on the GSM side, what will happen is that you will not be able to make a call. You would not be able to receive a call. You would not be able to send an SMS. You will also not be able to use data service. However, the NCA has been magnanimous to allow, because initially we're going to delink and remove all of these numbers. But they have allowed the *404 and the hash and the *400 hash would remain, so that if you are able to get your Ghana card today, then you can dial the *404 hash and then complete your registration process. Or you'll be able to dial the *400 hash and then be able to check whether the status of your registration. However, this window, there is no time bar to it. The NCA could come after 2 days. They could come just after the next day to say that that window is closed. So it is important for all of us to take advantage of the magnanimity of the NCA to quickly get our Ghana card and then get the registration done. And then also for the 7.4 million subscribers who have about over 200,000 CDs on 200 million CDs on their wallet, when they are barred, they also would get the opportunity, if they register, to be able to get their numbers back and then the historical record of their transaction. But if they don't, and the NCA decide to close the window anytime, then what they would have to do is that they would have to go to their mobile money operators, and then there will be a procedure that will be put where they can get their money back, but it will not be via mobile money. They will not be able to do a mobile money transaction until they regularize it.
I see. So some grace period there, even though the grace period, we do not know how long it will last for. But so essentially what it means that tonight, as of tonight, if you have money on your phone, you lose that money. You cannot make a call. You cannot send a message. You will not have data service, nothing. But the money that you expect people to be losing as of tonight is what, 200 million?
So on the mobile money side is over 200 million. Yes.
But they will not lose that cash completely. If they go to the telco, they'll get their money back.
Yes, they would have to. The process will be put in place, and the various IDs and the various documentations they would have to would give them access to their money.
And for those who want to make calls, they cannot, but they can send a text message to commence processes of registration, correct?
Correct. So they'll be able to do the *404* to be able to commence the registration and complete it. And then they will also be able to check whether their backup has been completed by dialing the 400 hash. And then also the mobile networks would also retain an ability to be able to send them SMSs to remind them of what they need to do to be able to get back their telecommunication services back.
For many people, the general complaint is that they do not have the Ghana card, so they cannot register. I know that's not your problem. It's not up to you to solve that. But over the last few days, we've heard that there's a mad rush towards the deadline. How are the numbers looking? Are people still queuing in your various telco offices trying to do the last minute thing, or the queues have shortened?
Well, that's the sad part of us, all of us as Ghanaians. So, the tendency, to wait till the very last minute. Because if you're looking at about 9 million, I don't know the unique numbers yet, it would definitely not be the same numbers of people who don't have their Ghana card. So within the 9 million, definitely there are the fraudsters as well. So, what will happen is after tomorrow, when we start barring all of these fraudsters, they will leave us in peace for now. They might have to use other means. Then there are people who have just not made the effort. Then there are those who genuinely, so people who have applied for the Ghana card who have not received it yet. There are Ghanaians who are living outside who might still have their phone numbers active they use for their mobile monies and all of that, who might not have been able to register. We have our unfortunate brothers and sisters in conflict areas like Boku and all of that, where because of the insecurity, registrations have not been done. So we'll have to separate them into different cohorts and be able to use the limited window that has been open for us to be able to solve the problems for these people. But for the fraudsters, who will be happy to get them off? Unfortunately, with this particular operation, their history would also be available. So if the police wants to come for them with their CDRs and all of that, we'll be able to get it for them. And then those who have not registered to, yes, they can go to the NI. Hopefully, they will be able to get their card and then be able to register. So going forward, at least we'll have a relatively cleaner same database, and then we'll be seeing what these fraudsters will want to come back again. But the basic things they've been doing in the past, now when you do them, because you've been properly registered, we have all your details and all of that, it will be easy for the police to be able to narrow down on you and be able to arrest some of these fraudsters who will still want to perpetrate this fraud. And also, Omar, as you know, the *402*1# is still in operation. You can dial it and see if there are any numbers that is not you that is associated to your Ghana card, and then ask those numbers to be deleted so that we can continuously clean up the database that we have.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Doc.
Thank you very much, Omar.
That's Dr. Engineer Ken Ashigbe. He's Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Telecommunications. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. Talking about one of the stories we are looking at, the letter from the President to the Electoral Commission asking for CVs. We've just received another one. This one is targeted at the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT. It was dated 12 May 2023. It's titled RE, Request for Curricula Vitae of Senior Management of Staff of State Agencies. The Public Services Commission extends its warmest compliment. An official communication received from the Office of the President requests all senior management officials, i.e., all chief executives, deputy chief executives, and directors in the public service to submit soft copies of their curriculum vitae to the address below. A copy of the letter is attached for ease of reference. The address has been given as Harriet. Okay, I don't need to read everything there. And it says, in line with the above directive, you are kindly requested to inform all ministries, departments, and agencies under your supervision and to coordinate the successful submission of the required information. Our deadline for submission is Friday, 26 May 2023. Please treat as urgent. Thank you. Signed, Engineer Mrs. Mabel Amwakwata, who is Secretary to the Office of the Public Services Commission. And this is addressed to SNIT and received by SNIT. So just by way of giving you additional information on what we are picking up. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. We're coming to you from our studios in Adabraka, in Accra. Let's go to the Electoral Commission now. And there's an announcement on Asin North. Akocha, give us the salient issues of what the statement is saying.
Yes, so it's giving out dates on when the election will take place. It's saying that in accordance with Article 1125 of the Constitution, as amended, the EC will hold a by-election in the Asin North constituency on Tuesday, 27th of June 2023. Now, accordingly, the Commission will receive nominations from prospective candidates of the election of a Member of Parliament of the said constituency. The nominations will be received at the Asin North District Office of the Commission from Monday, the 12th of June 2023 to Wednesday, the 14th of June 2023 between the hours of 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. each day. Interested candidates are required to download the nomination forms from the Commission's website, www.ec.gov.gh, from the 1st of June 2023. And at the latter part, it said a candidate shall, at the time of submitting his or her completed nomination forms, provide the returning officer with 2 copies of a recent postcard photograph against a red background showing his or her full face and ears. The filing fee for the election is 10,000 Ghana cedis.
Thank you, Akosia, giving us a press statement by the Electoral Commission. Let's speak to the NPP now. Yesterday, we spoke to the NDC on how it is preparing for tomorrow's for the by-election. The NDC said it was going to field the same candidate it fielded in 2020. What's the NPP's plan? Richard Ahiagba is Director of Communications of the New Patriotic Party. Mr. Ahiagba, welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, ma'am.
How are preparations coming in getting a candidate for you in Asin North? Are you going to choose the same candidate you used in 2020 like NDC is doing, or you're going to open it up for contest?
Well, thank you, Mara. As of this morning, we open nomination for all who are interested to contest for that seat, to present themselves for our party delegates to choose which one will be fit to represent us. And that process by now has ended. My last check at the constituency suggests 2 people have picked the nomination forms so far. One Freeman and another Charles Opoku. That's about 4:30 or so. This was the indication I had. So this means that from tomorrow, the processes will start. We'll do the vetting in the course of the week, and the elections will be held Wednesday, the 7th of June, to select the parliamentary candidates for Asin North to be on the MPP's ticket.
What do you reckon are your chances as a party, considering that you lost a seat in 2020, even though President Akufo-Addo got more votes in that constituency?
Well, it's a seat. Asin North is an interesting seat, and a parliamentary seat that came into being in 2012. The NDC won it. We took it from them in 2016. They won it in 2020. So it definitely is alternating back to the New Patriotic Party. So our chances are very, very bright. And incidentally, if you pay attention to the numbers, we have won with much more votes than the NDC has ever won in their 2 victories. They've never crossed anywhere. I think the highest they've gotten is 55% and change. This is by Mr. Gechikwe in 2020. We've won, I think the last we won it in 2016 was in excess of 56%, about 57%, with which we won. So clearly they have a ceiling. We have the potential to actually perform better in that constituency. So with the work that we have done, I think that come the 27th, which is the date the EC has picked for this election, the New Patriotic Party will emerge victorious.
Even though NDC is bringing the same guy who defeated you?
Yeah, well, certainly the dynamics are different. It has nothing to do with his person. It was former President Mahama that we beat in 2016, and it was the same one we beat in 2020, and we're going to beat him in 2024. So really, who is coming doesn't really matter.
Very well. We wish you all the best, and thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you, kindly.
That's Richard Ahiagba. He's Director of Communications of the New Patriotic Party. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 CTFM. We're coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. Up next, we'll bring you the latest in the world of business, and then there'll be Point Blank. And on Point Blank tonight, my guest is a member of the Alan Chiamati campaign team. He's a member of parliament representing the people of Botiano, English, among from the Honorable Sylvester Tetteh. Please stay with us.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to cause and you can feel better energy.
Can't touch this.
Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies gear improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry, Chairman. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer. The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by citybusinessnews.com. My name is Netelinete Ajaho. Let's settle for the details now. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana is projecting a marginal decline in the prices of fuel in the first pricing window of June. GOPEC attributes this projection to the relative stability of the forex rates. The chamber is further predicting that the price of liquefied petroleum gas will decline by roughly 5% during the same period. Executive Secretary of GOPEC, Duncan Amor, has been speaking to City Business News.
The first pricing window for June looks relatively stable, although per our figures, some OMCs might decline marginally on current pump prices. Like you rightly said, they might remain stable, but we expect some few peso reductions on current pump prices for a lot of the oil marketing companies come 1st of June 2023. This is informed by a relative stability and some relative gain that the city would have made within the period. International market benchmarks have not been as good as you saw them the past window. There have been some increases, but those are, 2%, 1% increases. We expect that the city would have a rather positive impact on pump prices. So prices could go down just a little, while for LPG you could see some significant reduction between 2 and 5%.
Meanwhile, the Chamber has reiterated calls for key stakeholders to find solutions to reactivate the operations of the Tema Oil Refinery, as there is a growing presence of some key private refineries in the country, which may lead to a complete extension of TOR.
TOR would need an urgent program to bring it back on stream. If you check the development as far as the refining space is concerned across the sub-region, the central refinery is almost done and ready, not far from where TOR sits. Again, you have the Dangote refinery expected to come on stream by end of month June. Technical hands that TOR could boast of would simply be poached. Iraq already has poached a good number of your technical people. Bahrain, Kuwait have also poached. If we wait for these other giant refineries, Dangote and Central, to get ready before TOR, we might as well forget about Tema Oil Refinery completely because it would never be able to come back again. And whatever lip service we continue to pay to the refinery, the earlier we find real-time solution to the idleness of the refinery, the better it could be for Ghana if we want to continue to have the benefit of refining.
That was the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, Duncan Amwa. The Chamber of Telecommunications has revealed that the central bank will take measures to protect the funds of mobile money subscribers who will not be able to re-register their SIM cards. This comes as over 9 million subscribers risk losing their lines permanently should the NCA go ahead to block the lines of subscribers after close of day today. Engineer Ken Ashigbe is the CEO of the Chamber, and he's been speaking to City Business News.
We have about close to 200 million CDs on these accounts that potentially could be impacted. And so what the Bank of Ghana has put in place is to get the EMI to move these from the accounts that will be impacted into some special archived accounts. And you might have to go through the rigorous process of proving that it's yours for these monies to be given to you. So the money will not be lost, but you will just lose the ability of being able to do mobile money transactions. So what will happen is that the transactions that these people should do, if you just did a projection, there's quite some significant amount of the impact, it's a million, that in terms of even just the mobile money revenues that will come. And we all know that for every mobile money, the permissible transactions, there's e-levy on it. So this will definitely also impact government e-levy. Then when you come to the GSM side, if you make a call, you send a text message, you do any data transaction. That airtime you buy as well, there's CST that is paid on it, there's e-levy, there's COVID levy, all of those levies are paid on it. So already, government levy with the challenge we have, financial challenges, this is also going to deepen it. So the telcos will suffer it, but government will also suffer it.
Engineer Ken Ashigbe is the CEO of the Chamber of Telecommunications Ghana. MTN Ghana is anticipating a much better year for mobile money than they experienced last year. According to the CEO of the company, Sylvester Tetteh, the reduction in the charge of the e-levy rate has had a positive effect on mobile money usage in the country. Government last year removed the 100 Ghana cedi daily threshold on the electronic transfer levy and reduced the headline rate from 1.5 to 1%. CEO of MTN Ghana, Sylvester Tetteh, disclosed this to the media on the sidelines of the company's 5th annual general meeting.
So government reduced the rate from 1.5% to 1%. We've seen very positive response by consumers to the reduction, and we're grateful to government for taking this on. Two things that we continue to see. One is the behavior of consumers around Momo has changed for the better. We're seeing a lot more transactional activity, and we're seeing encouragement that this will be a much better year for mobile money than we saw last year. Second thing we're also seeing is the investment in Momo in terms of how many people are putting cash into their wallets and what the level of float is in general has also increased. And we're seeing renewed growth in that area, which is very encouraging. So for us, we see a very positive year from that perspective. And I think the actions that the government has taken underpin a lot of the trends that we're seeing. Sylvester
Tetteh is the CEO of MTN Ghana. Prudential Life Insurance Ghana has launched a micro insurance product known as Mekakrawa to serve as a cover for Ghanaians who largely operate under the informal sector. The introduction of the product, which is part of the company's 175th anniversary celebration, also forms part of efforts to protect the livelihoods and businesses of these informal sector workers. Speaking at the launch of the product in Kumasi, CEO of Prudential Life Insurance Ghana, Dr. Hazel Berard Amwa, noted that the product has been made very affordable as it starts from as low as 3 Ghana cedis.
It is very innovative, and very revolutionary. What we seek to achieve with Mekakrawa is that everybody in Ghana should be able to have an insurance policy. That's why with low as 3 Ghana cedis only, you can have a Prudential life insurance cover for the whole year. You have to pay month on month using our star 77 hash on MTN. And the product range in terms of premium is from 3 cedis to 45 cedis. So you can be paying 3 cedis or 45 cedis every month to have cover and protection against 4 critical illnesses. Right? That's how we evolve this product to do good on Ghana market in terms of how we listen to people, understand them, and deliver on help them achieve the best in life. So that's how. So as we said before, consistency in paying month on month. So because it's on the MTN Momo wallet, you have to have money in your wallet so that you have deductions every month. So that's a key thing that we require for everybody on this phone to have. Every time have money in your wallet. So whatever money you sign up for, whether it's 3 cedis, 5 cedis, or 45 cedis, make sure you have that amount set aside month on month in your wallet for the deduction for the premium to continue for its full life.
That was the CEO of Prudential Life Insurance Ghana, Dr. Hazel Berard Amwa. And that's all for City Business News on Eyewitness News. It was powered by your most comprehensive business website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Nete Ajaho. Up next is Point Blank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
City TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on channel 363. On GoTV, we're on channel 117, and on HD+, get us on channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search, but take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV. City TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and HD+ boxes. City TV, it's your world.
For Pepsodent, smiles are one of the most important things we have. The problem is, globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. Pepsodent, with maximum cavity protection, helps to prevent the formation of cavities. Pepsodent, because every smile matters. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Four minutes to 1900 GMT. This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. My name is Umaru Sandama. My guest on Point Blank tonight is a member of Parliament for Botiano English Amanfro. Lately, he has been busy doing the Alan Cash campaign. His name is Honorable Sylvester Tetteh. You're welcome to Point Blank. I'm doing well. So we're just, for those who don't know, we're just speaking Dangbe because he's formerly from Ningo Pram Pram. So what Botiano English Amman from, you have Dangbes there?
Of course.
Okay, what's the ethnic makeup of that constituency?
It's Dangbe Ga. The
Okay.
land is a Ga land, but of course, Ga Dangbe, Dangbes has huge presence.
And others?
If you go to Tuba,
Also, Tuba. So Tuba is not under Kasua constituency.
No, that's Botiano English Amman from.
Oh, so you are on the left. If I'm traveling to Kasua, your constituency is on the left, or you're in the middle. After Wejagbawe, you're where?
No, so when you get to Tetegu Bridge, on the left side, then you start Botiano English Amman from. So you go to the Bojo Beach Road, through Aplaku, Botiano, Kukrubite, Langwa, you come to Tuba to the Tobut. Then after SCC Junction, when you get to the Weja Dam, up to the Weja Dam is all part of Weja constituency. After the Weja, the days where we call Kalabule, Shamanfro passes there through Galilea to Tomefa. and the rest, that is...
so you're in Gas South?
Gas South municipality.
It means that the wager spillage affected your constituency?
Completely.
This time around, the dam is warning people to move. Any success with that? Getting people out of
I think that residents who are on the line should clearly advise themselves. I mean, some people, those who had lived there for a very long time, will tell you warehouses have been sited today is all waterway. You know, when the dam was built, there's a buffer that has been reserved to contain the excess water or the spillage of the water
along the spillways.
But it's all been taken over. People had sold them and people had bought and built houses there. Huge mansions on the waterway. So when it rains, then politicians are in trouble.
So if you want to remove these people, you have to compensate them because they have legitimate title to the land, even though they should not have been there.
I can tell you, I went to one community meeting and I was talking about the issue of documentation in that area. The entire area don't have it. No permits,
so
no single permits. And one man owned up and said, yes, I'm the only one who has a permit here because the then municipal chief executive or those in charge were my friends. And I managed to get it.
Wow.
And he knew that what he did was wrong. But the rest of the people there don't have any documentation.
But do they genuinely know that they are not supposed to be there?
They know. As we speak, when the flooding occurs and the water goes down, people still build.
And waiting for...
Yeah, they build.
Because, so it's just a disaster in waiting
It's a disaster in waiting. And of course, there are people who are not in the waterway. But because of the activities of people who are building in the waterway, in the buffer area, it now affects people
so the water
who are
comes
not...
up.
It comes up. And it affects people who ordinarily need not to be affected.
There's another issue of desilting the mouth of the river so that it can enter the sea easily. How far is that?
Well, that one, as I speak to you, I'm working with NADMO Hydro Department to ensure that when they spill the water from the dam, it should go all the way into the sea. And I tell you, when the two openings are done, Fana, where recently we had that disaster, obviously that community will be washed away.
Wow.
Yeah.
It should not be there.
It should not be there. That community ought not to have been there in the first place. So when they are going to spill, they always protest because the kind of spilling they will do will affect residents there.
What's the solution out of this?
Well, you see, I think that when matters of planning, fiscal planning, and things of this nature are left for politicians to decide on the spot, that is a problem we have in this country. I'm not an expert in planning. I'm a member of parliament.
Leave it for the technocrats.
Technocrats. But how many of them have been interviewed on your show? We don't get to hear of them. Nobody knows them. But because we go to canvass for vote, let flooding occur today, I'm the first person to be called. And I'm the first person the media will run to.
Can you wear the Wellington boot and
go there? You sympathize.
If you like, don't go.
Your head is chopped off.
What about infrastructure generally in your constituency? You are the constituency that has the mountains, the beautiful mountains on which people have built.
Yeah.
So we are looking at a Sierra Leone on our hands, don't we?
Well, ordinarily, it shouldn't be, depending on how that whole mountain is treated. I think it's one of the beautiful places or has a beautiful outlook when it's properly taken care of. And it has, I wouldn't mince words to say, it's one of the expensive areas in terms of infrastructure, individual buildings that you see there. The value of homes there, when you see, it will shock you. Kennedy Japon came to my 2020 final rally. He saw the houses there and he was shocked by the extent of houses there. But what has been the challenge is access roads in this area. And in an attempt to put up these houses there, people has really, really destroyed the vegetation of the area. The vegetation are meant for a particular purpose, to protect the vegetation and the hill there.
It's part of nature.
It's part of nature. They've mined it and they are still mining it. And what you see on the Accra-Winneba Road, anytime it rains at Atala and then Tuba Junction, is nothing but
see
outcome.
Sand and silt.
Yes, the outcome of human activities that they've destroyed, and they are still mining. When you mine and you destroy the vegetation, when it rains, the highway there has underground drainage. That when it rains, it should retain water and it goes through the under the road into the river. But now when it rains, it doesn't bring water; it brings silt. And the silt is deposited in the middle of the road.
So it covers the whole area.
It covers the whole area.
It's almost, whenever it rains, that the Kaswa to Accra side of the road is completely... so you have to use the other side. So vehicles have to use that.
I spent over 4 hours the last time in traffic trying to get home. And unfortunately, last year, in fact, when we're trying to clear the silt from the road, we cut 92 trips of 20 cubic trucks.
Just from the road?
Just from the road.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
So it keeps washing down more and more.
And now another place, from Tuba Junction to Tuba, you see a portion of the road is also suffering the same thing. A small amount of rain covers the entire place. It's all because of the sun-winning activities up the hill.
So the solution is from the assembly, not from you, or is beyond the assembly?
Part is from the assembly, because the assembly must be on surveillance, especially those who are still mining. I don't know what kind of permit, and I'm aware that the assembly have not given them any permit. Okay. But once you watch and look on, unconcerned, don't make the arrest, in law, there's something we call principle of acquiescence. You've acquiesced. It means you are complicit.
So as a member of parliament, what can you do?
Well, I've gone to the police. I've had word with the assembly that they must make an arrest and prosecute them. Nobody has a right to mine that will affect the livelihood of the people in and around that place.
Finally, this one, I'm an advocate of dualization of our roads. The road to Kaswa has been dualized, and yet traffic to and from Kaswa is a problem. People say that going to that area of Ghana is Lomnava. If you don't, you can't go.
Yeah, seriously.
What can be done to deal with your traffic situation in the mornings and then in the evening?
Yes, seriously speaking, we need to have alternative routes to access the capital.
How? Because it's west and east. There's nowhere you can pass. Where can you possibly pass?
I mean, when you look at Pambros, and there's a coastal road from Nyanyano that passes through Lama. It goes through Botiano, Kukrubite, and it can go through Pambros and hit Dansoman. So it can be an alternative route.
So there should be a beach road.
A beach road, so to speak. A beach road, so to speak, for residents in and around that place. So those traveling, there's a Trans-ECOWAS highway.
Yeah, it should not be bordered by traffic.
But I mean, the resident in the Gasau today is one of the biggest municipalities in Accra, and even the whole country in terms of its population. And then from there, you go to Ewutu Senya, East Kaswa. You can imagine. It goes all the way to Winneba. So people lives in Kaswa and work in Accra and go back every day, commute between Kaswa and Accra. And some from Winneba. And so the population there is amazing. So if you are going to rely, and once there's a little interference in the flow of traffic, we are in trouble.
This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. My name is Umaru Sandaman. My guest is the MP for Botiano English, a man from the Honorable Sylvester Tetteh. We are discussing generally his concerns. Let's talk about the bigger picture now. Edromoso.
Edroneso.
Edromoso. No, Edromoso.
But there's only one person before the party benefits. So Edroneso and the party.
But you are part of you're not the party yet.
No, it's one man that stands for election and all of us support.
Support. So why are you supporting Alan Kojo Chamantin?
He's a party person.
Explain that.
He's put himself up for election. Then, let me say good evening to Alan Kojo Chamantin and the campaign team. I've not been to the campaign office today. I will go there from here. And my constituents and those who are listening to us, Alan Chamantin is a Ghanaian politician for more than 4 decades. He's lived entire adult life for the MPP from its inception to where it is today. He's attempted to run for president in a couple of times. I've never supported Alan Chamantin.
2007 you did not?
No, never. I've never supported him. I've been an apostle of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And everybody knows. And I haven't hidden that anywhere. But this election, he never invited me to support him. I drove to him and I said, look, Alan, this is your time. I will support you. I've looked at everything happening in this country, where the party is at a crossroad and everything. I think is a person that can help us break the next 8, supposedly. So obviously, I think is a well-marketed candidate, well-mannered candidate. He's behaved himself politically. Is a candidate you really or find it difficult to find something against him. And above all, he's competent. He's proven. He has a track record in public service. And these are things we are looking for. He has shown in his area of expertise. He's a lawyer, an economist, a trade expert, an iconic one for that matter. So Ghana is blessed to have such a person to lead the MPP, and he's contributed his quota to the MPP. Every young person, including my good self, working for this party, we have an aspiration That is why we let go everything and continue to work for this party. We hope that our hard work will be rewarded one day. And this man has laid his life for this party for all these years. And you think if he's contesting for election, it's a motivation to the teeming youth of this party and the masses of this country that let's support him. He has something to offer this country.
You have said that you were an apostle of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo,
Yes.
and now you have chosen to go to the Alan camp.
Nana Addo is not running for election
I
anymore.
know. So we don't know what his new camp is going to be. But the question is,
Nana Addo,
yes,
he's made it clear. And I was in
no,
the
no problem. John Kufuor made it clear, but we still said Alan was in John Kufuor's camp.
No, I mean,
that's the public speech. I'm talking about that. Let me land with my question, then you can respond. My question,
I don't want to be drawn into you support Nana Addo and today. I know there's nothing like
my
that.
question is this: there is a view that a lot of Alan supporters and disgruntled Akufo-Addo supporters who are not happy that they've not been given appointments or had one issue or another with Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's side of the MPP. You are a member of parliament representing the MPP, representing Botiano English Amanfo. You've not been appointed by Akufo-Addo. Could that be the reason you decided, let me pay Akufo-Addo back by joining his former opponent?
You should have checked well.
Okay.
And I'm a typical example of to disabuse the minds of people who think so. I'm a member of parliament. Before I came to parliament, I was a chief executive at the National Youth Authority.
Yes.
In parliament today, I'm the board chairman of the Ghana Enterprises Agency.
GA.
I'm not bitter. I'm grateful to Nana Addo for the experience in public service.
You are not an appointee.
I am an appointee of the president.
You are not a minister deputy.
It doesn't matter. Who says if Alan Tremantin becomes president today, he will appoint everybody as a minister? I know what governance is.
So you're not embittered. It's not you're not doing it out, even though that's the accusation against that. All of you
people have been in parliament for 4 terms, 3 terms. They are not even board members. And the president has found me wealthy to be made a board chairman of Ghana Enterprises Agency, and I think I should be bitter. I am not.
That's under Ministry of Trade.
Yes.
Maybe Alan
didn't
pushed an agenda.
Alan did. I said, I've never supported nor have met Alan before my appointment. Never. It has nothing to do with it.
You are
the authority to appoint to boards and the rest is reserved of the president. My letter was signed by the president.
You are a member of the Parliamentary Caucus, MPP Parliamentary Caucus.
Fantastic.
A few weeks ago, we heard that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia had gone to meet the caucus and that over 100 of your colleagues said they were supporting Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
But you see, when they do these things, at that meeting, who said a roll call was held and people said 100 of us are supporting Dr. Bawumia? It's a lie. These media gimmicks will not help MPP. I was there.
You were in the meeting.
He spoke for less than a minute. That he's declaring his support, that we should support him to win the flag bearership. And that was it. Before then, Koblen Jepon was there. No attendance and no hands were raised to count how many people are supporting him or otherwise. That's a fallacy.
The front bench people have been pushing for you to go that way, or they have left you to be free? Because at least your whip is an avowed Dr. Bawumia person. Has there been a decision by your leadership at the bench?
NPP is a democratic party. That me, before I came to parliament, I had contested 2 elections. My 3rd elections brought me to parliament. I was constituency secretary. I was a TESCOM president, TESCOM secretary. I've gone through the mail. I was a member of the National Council. I had managed a candidate who became a national chairman. I had managed a candidate who became a regional chairman. You think somebody can coerce me?
So there's nothing like that.
Nothing.
When Alan says Edromiso, or when you supporters of Alan say Edromiso,
yes.
What does it mean? Are you saying that the party has some succession line and that it is its 10? Is that what you are saying?
No.
What are you saying?
When we say Edromiso, our party is a conservative party of tradition. And let me remind you of what happened in University of Ghana, 2007, when 17 aspirants battled for the single slot of a flag bearership of this party. Nobody had 50+1. And don't forget, NPP's primaries, you need 50+1 to be declared a winner. Anado, Alan Tremantin were built to go for the runoff. And Alan Tremantin said, for party cohesion, unity of our party, he doesn't want to subject the party through another round of rigorous campaigning and all that. So he was conceding victory to Nana Addo. When Anando mounted the podium, he said, for what Alan has done, just as President Kufuor told him that he'll be president after him, Alan, you come after me. Everybody present in Legon clapped for him. But for us to say, yes, of course, we say that for what Alan has done for this party, it is fair for the party to reward him after Anando. You know what would have caused the party if we had to subject ourselves to another rigorous round of campaign. And beyond that, Alan Chemantin has shown competence, character, tenacity required of a leader. And I'm saying that put Alan Chemantin to the test before the good people of this country. I doubt if anybody will pick a stone and throw at him.
There are about 10 people who are currently interested in the position that Alan is interested in. But we don't have to kid ourselves. The front runners will be Dr. Baumia and maybe Kennedy Japon, whose name has come up strongly. Dr. Baumia, if you talk about competence, he is the one possibly who has introduced the word competence in our political, area where he was accusing former President Mahama of incompetence and all of that. He has shown in the Supreme Court brightly. He's been described as the economic whiz kid of your party. He's been seen as a guy who drove the campaign of 2016.
What did he show at the Supreme Court?
He's shown.
He showed what?
Then
we should go for the lawyer who led the party to Supreme Court and a petitioner. Anando was a petitioner. But he was a co-petitioner. What did he show?
So he was the one in the box.
What? He showed what?
He was the one in the box.
Were you expecting me to be in a box? I don't want to discuss Dr. Baumia. He's a friend and a father.
Yes.
Dr. Baumia is a leader. I respect him
I'm
so
just
much.
trying to put the adjective you use for Alan.
I'm discussing Alan. Let's discuss Alan.
Okay.
I don't want to.
But you're going against Baumia.
I'm not against Baumia. I'm supporting Alan. I'm not going against Baumia.
What I mean is that Alan is going against him.
Alan is not going against him.
They are going in a
Baumia
contest.
is not holding the flag, and nobody is going against anybody.
So okay, they are going against each other.
They are not going against. They are going for the slot.
Fine. The one
nobody is going against anybody.
Are you not considering the strengths and weaknesses of your
I am
opponents?
not doing that here. When I meet the delegate, I'll do so.
So you're not interested in attacking your opponent?
What is the essence of doing that?
Today.
Mm-hmm. And by the special grace of God, Alan will be the winner. When Alan wins, Alan needs Dr. Baumia more than me to win the national elections. So why should I attack Dr. Baumia? If Alan wins today, he needs Kwabena Japon more than me. If Alan wins today, he needs Kennedy Japon more than me. If he wins today, he needs his contemporaries.
So there will be no attack from your side?
What for? I don't do that kind of politics. It's not necessary. It's not healthy. Why should I sit on CTFM and be running down somebody?
You rather project your own?
I'll project my own. I'm not interested. What I'm interested in, what Alan Chemantin brings to the table.
Let's talk about what he brings to the table. Under President John Kufuor, he was in charge of presidential special initiatives on cassava and a number of those things. Under Akufo-Addo, he's in charge of Ministry of Trade. He was supposed to ensure we have a warehouse in each district. Your district, Gas South, is there a warehouse there?
No, don't forget. He never said every district has this particular district.
One district, one warehouse. That was the campaign.
That particular project was under the Ministry of Special Initiatives.
No Ministry of Trade?
No.
Warehouses?
Yes.
Are you sure warehouses?
The warehouses were constructed at the Ministry of Special Initiatives.
So it's not trade?
No.
Okay.
Yes,
So
get it right.
What is his track record as a Minister of Trade?
For Alan Chemantin, I've made a statement. It's running that all the deliverables, tangibles, all the tangibles you can take to the next elections were tangibles delivered by Alan Chemantin. Dr. Mobile Bill, he supervised it. And today, most of the Suzuki, Uber cars you see in today is the handiwork of Alan Chemantin.
Okay.
One district, one factory. Over 126 factories have been delivered across this country. Nobody can mount an MPP platform and will not be referring to one district, one factory.
Is there one factory in your district?
There is. Today,
in Gas South?
Yes, today they supported me and supplied sanitary pads to 1,800 pupils of Nasek Secondary School. And they are doing same for Christian Methodists. Produced right there in my constituency.
What was the name of the factory?
Sunda.
And what they produce? What
they produce? Sanitary pads and other sanitary.
And they are new. They are not an existing company.
It's a 1D1 project
in your district. Okay. What other things are you going to? You are going to use Free Senior High School to campaign as well, won't you? And that's also attributed to Alan Chemantin.
Did I say so?
No, I'm just asking. Because you
did
said
I say so?
No, you said the key things to be campaigning.
I said tangibles.
Free SHS is a key tangible.
Tangibles. Please.
Okay.
I'm not running down anybody. You mentioned Alan Chamantin.
No.
If that's where you want to go,
No,
please.
no. I'm
Don't
saying
set me up against
you,
anyone.
no, I'm not saying
most of the tangibles.
Okay, not all of it. But I'm looking at free
I didn't say everything. Did Alan Chamantin run everything?
Free SHS is a key tangible.
But who says free SHS is not important? You asked me about Alan Chamantin.
Okay.
And I've begun telling you
continue.
about the things Alan Chamantin has done.
Please continue. Add after to it.
Yes, after. It's part of it.
Yeah.
But let me remind you. Ghana Enterprises Agency. You know it was National Board for Small Scale Industry.
People came to change name like you always do.
We don't only change name. I'm telling you, look at the 2023 budget. 580,000 small, medium enterprises have been supported through the rebranding of NBSSI. We had partnership with World Bank, MasterCard, be giving grant training. I know one of the key things Alan Chamantin did, Ghana Enterprises Agency, today, 67 business resource centers has been built around this country. You know what it does? One-stop shop for business modeling and development in this country. To be able to support one district, one factory, to help people, branding, marketing, be able coaching, and even business processes, training are done in this country. Unprecedented, 67 of them, one-stop shops in this country, and it's still counting.
Okay, so those are his positives. Since 2012, our general elections have been mainly dominated by corruption. In 2024, our election is going to be dominated by the economy.
Right.
As a minister for trade, he is a key guy.
Fantastic.
For a party that has said we are going to move from taxation to production. He should take the blame and the fall for the failures of the economy currently. No?
No.
Why not?
Alan Chamantin is only managing a subset.
It's a huge subset. Trade is a big subset.
Please. No problem. But in this country, in the face of global crisis and all the global challenges, we recorded trade surplus in this country under Alan Chamantin, where all other sectors were going down.
No problem. But all of that notwithstanding, the economy is under
but
the
I'm
ground.
telling you, if you look at financials and then the tangibles of trade, production, factors of production and all that, when COVID came, we were not importing. We were relying on what he did with GEA to support small, medium businesses in this country to meet our demands in this country. That is huge and significant. So you cannot say the entire economy is about trade. No, he played his part. That is why he's seeking to be the overall boss of the entire economy, where he can supervise the entire economy.
Okay.
So he's played his role. What you gave Alan Chamantin, based on the president's vision, he's delivered. And the man who gave him the job outside, he has done so excellently. And we are seeing that.
So the non-production that we are witnessing and the high taxation we are seeing should not be blamed.
What has taxation got to do with production? He doesn't
your party
determine the taxation. He doesn't determine the taxation.
But he is supposed to ensure we have a lot of production.
The issue of taxation does not depend on a trade minister.
No, if there's
please
production,
get it right.
No,
get it right.
I understand, but I'm saying that
situate it in that
tax.
So please.
But Ken will bring the tax because Alan has failed to produce.
Who said so?
That's the principle. It's
Who said
simple.
so?
If there's production, there will be no taxation.
That if you fail to produce, you don't tax.
If you don't produce, yes.
What kind of principle is that?
Are you producing enough to prevent us from taxing?
Please, what principle is that?
That's a principle, simple principle which you campaigned on.
No.
That we are going to stop taxation because we are going to produce. And I'm saying that the production is an aspect under Alan Chamantin. That production is failing. That's why we are seeing taxation.
So the government policy of taxation is dependent on the fact that we haven't been able to produce.
Is it not?
No.
What is it dependent on?
How does production? Even under Alan Chamantin, when we came, the first thing we did, and the government did, was to reduce the corporate income tax for companies to come down, to be able to support companies to produce more. That notwithstanding, you look at balance of payment in this country, our debt portfolio, the challenge we have, the CD, when the CD had gone up to about 17, today CD is about 12%. That it even affects production. It even affects production. So you should look at that side of the equation and don't say because we not produce enough, then there's more taxation.
We need to go, but I think we'll just ask you one last question on the industrialization aspect. Yes. So it's trade and industry.
Right.
How has it done in terms of industry?
Industrialization is what I told you.
The vehicles?
No, not the vehicles.
Okay.
There is industrial parks that are set for industrial revolution. You need to look at free zones more free zones companies have been registered on operation under this regime more than ever. And the essence is that you need to create industrial hubs, industrial parks, to be able to support our industrialization drive, to be able to deal with businesses, not to fight over land litigation and all those things. Before he left office, there's a Greater Kumasi Industrial Park that was signed to be built, biggest ever in the West African sub-region. It's part of his achievement. So clearly, for Alan Chemantin, his delivery and what he has done, if you give him the bigger job, I believe this economy will turn around.
We wish you all the best on the campaign, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, my brother.
That's
I'm grateful for the time. And then let me greet him once again. And let me thank the Queen Mothers who picked this form for him today. We didn't talk about Alan Chemantin's form.
I sure that one is not for the cameras.
But before, when the man went to KJT market, when the market was gutted, the women promised him that we will come and pick a form for you and campaign for you to become president. That's what they did.
That's like Tetteh or Sylvester Tetteh, Member of Parliament, Botiano English Amanfro, member of the Alan Kojo Chemantin campaign. That's how we end tonight's edition of Eyewitness News. My name is Umaru Sandapa. Production by Beverly London and Kobna Wilson, with Daniel Squashy supporting us on the technical side of things. Have a good night.